One peaceful day, there was a small cat named Mish-Mish, who lived in a little house on the outskirts of a quiet village. Mish-Mish was a curious cat, always running around the fields and exploring new places, but what he loved most was playing in the nearby forest. One morning, Mish-Mish decided to explore a part of the forest he had never visited before. He wandered between the thick trees, watching the birds flying and hopping from one spot to another, happy and carefree. As time passed, he began to feel that he had strayed too far from his usual path. The trees now seemed denser, and the light was dim. Suddenly, he felt something strange. The familiar sounds of nature seemed to fade, and the place felt very unfamiliar. He tried to turn back, but he couldn't find the path he had come from. The forest seemed to stretch endlessly, and every time he moved, it felt like he was passing the same trees and streams again and again. Anxiety began to creep into his heart. He never imagined the forest could be so disorienting. At that moment, he spotted a small bird flying nearby. Mish-Mish felt a spark of hope, and decided to follow it. The bird flew off into the distance, and Mish-Mish's eyes stayed fixed on it. But soon, he found himself walking through unfamiliar lands until he reached a small stream. He sat by the stream, trying to figure out how to leave the forest. At that moment, a wise old turtle emerged from between the trees, with a shiny shell and bright eyes. The turtle slowly approached Mish-Mish and said in a calm voice, "You're lost, but don't worry. The forest is not unfriendly, it just requires someone who knows how to connect with it." The turtle looked at Mish-Mish and said, "Stop worrying, and learn to listen carefully. All you need to do is calm down." Mish-Mish listened to the turtle's advice and sat beside it, closing his eyes for a few minutes, listening to the sound of the wind passing through the trees, and the chirping of the birds. Suddenly, he felt something strange, as though the earth had become more familiar, and the trees knew him. He opened his eyes to find that the path ahead of him was now clear. The turtle had helped him find his way by teaching him how to refocus and listen to the forest. Mish-Mish thanked the turtle and safely made his way back home. From that day on, Mish-Mish always followed the turtle's advice, to calm down and listen to the world around him before making any move. He learned that the forest was not a place to get lost, but rather a place that required patience and mindfulness.